Arctic Star Exploration, operated by a team of proven mine finders, is focused on diamonds in Finland and the Northwest Territories of Canada. A work program is planned for our Finland property that contains diamond-bearing kimberlite. Arctic Star trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ADD, and the Frankfurt Exchange, symbol 82A1. Please visit our website at arcticstar.ca or call us at 604-689-1799.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick. He's the senior analyst for EdelsenInstitute.com. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks very much for having me on.
The price of oil dipped today, and energy-related stocks took a bit of a beating on the stock markets. But what's your long-term outlook for oil, which is still churning around the $55 mark?
Right. I mean, I would describe it as more than a bit of a beating. They were lined up and spanked like red-headed stepchildren. It was not a good day for the oil stocks, and I think a lot of it could be profit-taking. Certainly, it's overdone, and I expect a new bottom to be found sooner rather than later. And this is actually a great buying opportunity. There's a lot going on in the world that actually points to plenty of more good news, more fuel for the next leg of the oil boom. I mean, in the Middle East, talk about a tinderbox. Saudi Arabia and Iran they're moving closer and closer to a shooting war. Saudi Arabia is actually blockading neighboring Yemen, right? And its troops are in that country trying to stomp out Shiite rebels, and they're doing it so savagely that they have a media blockade there as well. And also, the OPEC is actually exceeding its goals for how much oil that it wants to cut. And now the newest whisper is that it's going to extend those output cuts beyond the end of March. And then there's Venezuela. What a horror show. I mean, that country produced only 1.86 million barrels per day in October. That's the lowest level of oil production in Venezuela in 28 years. And then you add all that up, and you look at the trend in global oil inventories, which are getting lower and lower and lower. And I think that, we're having a little pullback, but everything zigs and zags. But we are going to see oil move up to $65. That's actually my target.
U.S. shale producers, of course, can step in on a moment's notice and increase production. If there is something happening in the Middle East, would they make up the difference? And would it also make Canadian crude more popular?
It would make crude from our friends in the Great White North more popular, yes. And they can step in. It isn't overnight. It isn't immediate. So it does take a little while. I'm hoping nothing goes bad in the Middle East. First of all, because there are all sorts of unintended consequences. Second of all, you don't want anyone to get hurt, right? And so let's hope nothing bad does happen in the Middle East, but the trends there anyway are bullish for oil. And so we'll just have to see how that plays out, but it looks pretty good.
China talking about taking up 5% of the shares, or all the shares being offered by Aramco when they have their first initial public offering. How does that affect the U.S. dollar?
Well, I believe that there's a new triumvirate, or whatever you want to call it, being formed between Russia, China, and Saudi Arabia, because they don't like how the U.S. pushes them around. And so we could see something happening in the next few years that's actually quite dire for the U.S. dollar. I don't think it's going to happen soon, but the building blocks are being put in place. And we are seeing all sorts of stuff going on with China now. I think they really resent us trying to push people around. And that's something to definitely keep your eye on. Something interesting happened in China, by the way. This was just overnight, is that they had some not so good economic news. economic numbers, and that caused this tremendous selling in the nickel markets, which reverberated around the world. Nickel prices just slumped, something big. And this shows to the interconnectedness of the world markets and how things are really bubblicious anyway, frankly. And now, personally, I'm a big believer in nickel as an energy metal and for all kinds of things. But I think that people who have been getting used to prices only going up have to broaden their horizons a bit. We might see some really steep corrections. I think for things like nickel and other energy metals, that's a great buying opportunity. And in fact, I made this point when I was speaking in Vancouver this past weekend. Was a fantastic, it was a really fantastic conference. It was the Metals Investor Forum, and they loved my presentation, which was about, lithium, cobalt, but the other energy metals as well, because there is so much demand for copper now in electric cars, because electric cars have 3 to 4 times the wiring that non-electric cars have. So naturally, that's like picking things up there. But it's all, to me, just to get back to my point, pointing to an interconnected global market. And for a long time now, investors have really gotten used to everything going up. And there's something to be said for the global reflation trade. In fact, I have talked about that. But along with that, we have to expect steep corrections, especially when things are really, really bubblicious, thanks to all this cheap money flowing around. And so if you haven't bought yet, I don't think you have to chase anything. I think you wait for your pullbacks, and then you can pick them up, because those pullbacks will be coming, whether it is maybe triggered by some weird thing going on in China, or by something closer to home. You will have those opportunities, because everything's just kind of floating on the clouds right now.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after the break.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp. Inc., MGI on the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected high-grade gold, including 16.9 meters of 13.58 grams and 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. A follow-up drill program is planned to further evaluate previously identified subsurface high-grade gold mineralization. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com. Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Rainy Mountain Royalty Corp., RMO on the TSX Venture Exchange. Rainy Mountain's Brunswick property is located in the Ridout Shear Zone in Ontario, with grab samples running as high as 32 grams per ton gold. A follow-up drill program to test the numerous targets located by recent groundwork will commence later this year. Please visit our website at rmroyalty.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, what's happening in the marijuana space right now?
Well, my subscribers just took 60% gains in 3 weeks. But look, let me tell you this. We had a very interesting day in that early in the morning, or I should say early in the trading morning, so that's any time before 11 o'clock, things went down. Just about everything went down, and it was looking pretty bad. But then there was a reversal, and at least in the quality stocks, or some quality stocks kind of stood out. I mean, Canopy Growth is still down as you and I talk, and it's a quality stock. But many of the quality stocks reversed and went higher. And of course, trying to pick what the exact reason for this is tough. But one thing has to be, U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions was speaking before Congress, testifying, and they asked him about marijuana, and he specifically said that the policies of the Trump White House were basically the same as the policies of the Obama White House, and everybody has been expecting some kind of crackdown or even a jihad by Jeff Sessions against marijuana, because it's well known that he hates it personally, and he takes it as some kind of affront. But if he's actually stating the case that he's not going to press things against the whole cannabis industry nationally, that really takes some weight off the industry. And I think that might have been one of the things that sparked the afternoon rally, was just the good news out of his mouth that he's really not interested in marijuana right now. Now, to be fair, he has plenty of other problems. So, maybe that's just on the back burner, or else maybe he's actually come to the conclusion that he shouldn't interfere in something where honest people were just trying to make money. And so that's a very interesting thing to have happen today, and I think that helped really boost the market today.
Well, the legal marijuana states, too, I'm sure would be in revolt because they're making so much money from it.
Yeah, but it's not an actual revolt. If the federal government decided to crack down, they would have to go along with it at some point. And this is one of the things that's really been restricting business. It's been restricting investment in the U.S. It's been restricting all sorts of things. Heck, it even affects Canadian stocks because they said, oh, well, if you're a Canadian stock, then you can't invest in the U.S. marijuana business and all that stuff. It was stupid. So, I think that if they start to ease off in the Trump White House, that could be really good news for U.S. marijuana stocks.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Aben Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Aben's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at abenresources.com.
Keep informed. Receive our weekly recap of thought-provoking articles, podcasts, and radio delivered to your inbox for free. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage, HowStreet.com. Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, do you have any hope at all that tax reform, lower taxes are really going to happen in the U.S.?
I think it's actually pushed off till next year. There have been some hints about that. There is nothing that says that it has to happen in the next 8 weeks. Some people think, well, they have some kind of deadline. Not really, they don't. They have plenty of leeway in that thing. So I think they'll push things back till after the Christmas break, come back and see what's really important to them. Right now it's just turned into this fudge fest that's just filled with all these goodies for like special interests and stuff like that, which really makes it unmanageable and unworkable, which is a shame because they actually had some great ideas, I'd love to see some of those ideas made into law, but they got buried in all this slime that just collected all over it. So, we'll just see what happens. Maybe after the Christmas break, we'll see some more good stuff there. Now, how will the market handle it? I think we're seeing how the market's handling it now, which is to express disappointment through lower stock prices. And this could go on for a while. On the other hand, we usually have a Santa Claus rally, so those two things will come in and start to clash with each other. And there is good news out there. There really is. I talked about the stock market walking on the cloud tops. But you know what? There's nothing to prevent that going forward. And if some more of the good news starts to unfold, things could actually look pretty good. So I think we could have a Santa Claus rally. It's just that the market has to digest its really disappointment with the lack of progress on the tax cuts first. And once that works out, then that should pretty clear the decks for that.
What's your outlook for gold?
I was writing about this just yesterday, and for most gold stocks, they can do nothing right. When the price of gold goes up, they go down. When the price of gold goes down, they go down twice as hard. And they can release news that is about great drill results, and it'll boost them for one day, and then they fall twice as hard for the rest of the week. So it's really tough in the gold space right now. That said, there are stocks that are at least holding their own, and when things turn around, which should be, this is November now, should be either later this month or early next month. When things turn around, then those stocks can really do well. So I guess now's the time when you do selective bargain hunting. Just pick up some things that you really want to own, and just put those, if you put out your bids, which are underneath the market right now, we can have some kind of pullback, some kind of fear thing that goes through the market, and then you get filled, and then you end up owning something you want. And you know that the rebound is coming. Of course it is. Things have just been stretched way out beyond all proportion for now. There is going to be a rebound coming, and it'll be fine. You just have to put in those low bids. Maybe you get filled on some of them. It'll be good. In the meantime, you can make money in energy metals. We certainly have. And so there's more than one way to play this market. There's plenty of good stuff going on. You just have to be flexible, and you can do well.
Where do cyber currencies play into this?
Well, cyber currencies really sucked out a lot of the speculative fervor that's in gold. So rather than speculating in gold, people were speculating in cyber currencies. I think it'll all end in a vale of tears, but I'm an old man, so what do I know? I had a very young, earnest young man. One of my subscribers come up to me at the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver, and he laid out his case for why he invests in cyber currencies, and he made a great case. He said that cyber currencies for him hold many of the attractions that gold does, because he's worried about the global financial system, so we want something that's, not so much connected to that. He is worried about central bank shenanigans, and he's not worried about that in the cyber currencies. And he's worried that the leaders of our countries are maybe don't have our best he is worried that the leaders of our countries maybe do not have our best interests at heart. And so for him, cyber currencies are kind of a escape hatch from all those things. And so I have to respect, his opinion on that, and he has good reasons for doing it. And frankly, he's beaten the heck out of me because I'm not buying cyber currencies right now. But the volatility in these things is insane. The fact that there's at least 500 cyber currencies right now, some of which have gone to zero, some of which were complete scams, you have to be aware that this is a speculative market. It's not so much a money as an asset, and it is a speculative asset. And so just be aware of that. Be careful. Do not bet the bank, because that bank might just go away. Or the Russians might steal it. Or your computer might crash. I don't know. But I'm just saying that I think that for many people, it's the investment answer they've been looking for, and I don't blame them one bit. But I'm old school. I like gold. I like silver. Those are the things that I invest in when I lie awake at night worrying about things. Having gold and silver makes me feel better.
Sean, thank you so much for chatting with us.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick, Senior Analyst for the EdelstenInstitute.com. You're listening to HowStreet.com Radio. If you have any questions for Sean or any of our other guests, they can be sent to info@HowStreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com Radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com Radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.